Hello, my lovebirds. I hope you had an awesome, fantabulously blessed, goal achieving day today. So, I want to have a little bit of some bedtime chronicles, is what I'll call it. It's been on me to talk about this, but I've also been reluctant because I feel like I talk about my divorce and stuff like that a lot. And I do not want people to think that I discuss this because I'm not over my relationship, because that's far from the truth. But I feel like there are people who may be or may have been in situation similar to mine, in a situation similar to mine, and could benefit from the topic or can help me. Um, though I am over the relationship, the divorce is still very present and still has a present effect on certain aspects of my life. Doesn't control my life, but there are things that I still have to work through, like with the kids and stuff like that, because of the divorce and certain things that are going on in it. So, what I want to talk about is holding on to something that is toxic and not healthy for maybe the sake of children, and being scared to leave. The only thing that I regret about my divorce is the way in which not the way that I left, because I at that point I was kind of forced to have to like put my foot down and just leave, but the things that I did leading up to that point, doing stuff because I was hoping that my husband at the time would leave me because I was too scared. I didn't have enough courage to get up and go and walk away. It was easier. It felt like it would be easier if he would leave me. And so then to me, that just complicated things a little bit more. So, anyway, abuse doesn't always have to be you having to put on sunglasses because you got a black eye or somebody. It doesn't always show itself in that way. It's mental, as we know, verbal, and a lot of times before it becomes physical, it is very mental and verbal. And so I remember sitting at the table with women who were older than me, and before even having those conversations, I would have this conversation with other women, like, how can women stay and their man's treating them like this, blah blah blah, until I sat when I worked at Harbor and I worked night shift, and night shift became a little more black. And I sat down and listened to these women who were older than me share their stories about their relationships and how they moved on from it. And I just remember thinking how much more mature they seemed than I. And I started thinking, like, this is me. And this is what I'm going through. And because the abuse was not showing itself in the way that I knew abuse to be, I didn't consider it that. But it was. And I was in this bubble, in this mental thing. And for a long time, I mean, there was many times where I would attempt to leave and didn't have the strength or the courage or the confidence to do so. But then it started to progress and show itself, especially as I started to progress and become a woman and evolve into myself and do better and become more independent. And I decided to stay. I would wait and stay for the sake of the kids, or thinking that I could just make a change or a difference. And that was never going to happen. And it was becoming toxic to the point where I was at a point where I did not care, and I was getting real disrespectful. And so that's not good. And especially when you have kids, there's no way that I would. Now I regret staying as long as I did and having more children placed in the situation to where when I left, that's more of an impact. I would have left sooner, not worried about trying to get that person to leave me. I would not have had as many children brought into the situation. But of course, God wanted these kids to be here, and so that's why they're here. But I just would want any woman that's in a situation like that, never hold on because of that, because you want to show your children what a healthy relationship is, and you don't want them to carry that on. And as women, and if you have boys, you do not want to show your boys that it's okay for a man to treat you a certain way, or a relationship to be a certain way. So you want to show them healthy relationships. I don't intend to stay single. I'm just not in a position, or I have met a person that I feel like is who I want to be with and want my kids to see me with. So once I'm in a healthy relationship, my whole goal would be to be with someone and show them what healthy relationships are, and how me as a woman would want a man to treat me. And this is what I would tolerate, and this is what I will not tolerate. Because I don't want, I'm in the thing of breaking generational curses at this point. So I just don't want to see any woman hold on to something for the sake of the kids, because to me that's almost more damage than to leave. Because when I did leave, there was one thing that I ran into when I started counseling years ago. And the counselor did say, your kids are going to be mad at you, and they're going to point the finger at you regardless, because they're going to wonder, they're going to battle themselves. They're going to wonder, if there was abuse, why did you stay so long? And why didn't you end this sooner? And those are things that I had faced. So sometimes it's opposite of what you think it's going to be. So if you're in a situation and you think you're holding on for the sake of the kids, or that person will change or you'll change, it's going to continue to get worse, is all I'm going to say. And it may change, or how can I put this? I just don't do it. Get out while you can, and have a plan. That's the other thing. I didn't have an exit plan. Have an exit plan. Get an exit plan together, and you get away to your own safe zone and do what's best for you and the kids in the long run. And it's better to start the healing process sooner than later. And counseling to me is super duper important. And my kids are now finally in counseling, and I think that it is going to do wonders, because I'd rather have them dealt with as children, so when they become men, they do not repeat the same thing. Because I also believe some things are in you, right? You see it and it's in you. And so I want to reverse all of that now, so they can see things for what they are and know how to handle it. Okay, so I think that's my bedtime chronicle. Do not stay in unhealthy relationships for the sake of children. Get out as soon as you can. Things are not going to get better. And you need to get out so that you can start healing yourself. And if you have children, you can begin the healing process for them, because they're going to go through some things. And it's going to be a major adjustment for them. But like I said, do you continue that on, and then when they get married and get in relationships, they continue that cycle, and it's just a never-ending thing? Or do you end this now? Just think about it. I've had some people in the past, like when I first got divorced, inbox me and say, oh, we have similar stories, I just didn't know how to leave, I was scared, this and this and that. And they have left, and I've seen them flourish even faster than I did. So I'm just saying. And God's got you. And I'm not one of those ones to say that just because I got married that, God doesn't know. Because sometimes you ask for things, and I've asked for things, and God is like, hey, but you keep asking, I'm going to give you what you want, and this is what happens. So just keep that in mind, too. It's not always what God was trying to hand you.